Hey troops, this is Ariel Soltura with WatchReport.com. Coming to you today with Reactor's new tactical watch. Not so tactical that it's actually tactical, and I'll explain why here in just a second. But before we get started, like us on Facebook, Instagram, and go to our new forum at WatchReport.com/forum. So, again, Reactor's new Titan watch. It's a watch that's purposely designed to be as tough as the people that wear them. Now, in 2003, the company set out with a real ambitious goal, and their intent was to not only create a line of sport watches that would break free from the sport watch norm, but one that would redefine wristwatch performance. Now, much like human DNA, Reactor DNA performs kind of in the same way, right? Their exterior, the watches change, but what their foundation is, which is that, again, that Reactor DNA, which is 5 key watch design points, including the case, the crown, lume markers, case back, and screw bars, that remains unchanged. So pretty cool. Now, what Reactor did is they, again, focused on those 5 key points that I just mentioned, and they wanted to design out any type of flaws. They did that with the Titan, and they've done that with all their watches. So, again, a big applause to Reactor for going above and beyond and not just settling on status quo. Now, the 45mm Titan is, of course, the larger cousin to their already very popular 42mm Griffon. And again, it rises to the challenges placed upon it, excelling in impact and water resistance. Now, after having field tested this watch, I can tell you that, again, I understand why it's an obvious choice for officers and public safety professionals. Now, the specs on this are 45mm. That's the case. Case height is going to be 14, your lugs 24, and your lug to lug 53.75. Strap blend is strap is a blend of nylon, silicone, and natural rubber. The movement is a high torque Swiss quartz with a 10-year power cell. Crystal is K1 shatter resistant mineral glass. Now, if you are tuning out because I said mineral glass versus sapphire, don't. I'm going to tell you why that is the choice for you if you fall into the category that we talked about as far as your military men and women, your public safety professionals, your avid outdoorsmen. Stay tuned. Don't tune out just yet. Now, water resistance on this 200 meter, 660 feet, and the retail on this is $500. Now, the Titan arrived in its second life packaging, which is this canister right here. This canister, actually, when you turn it around, you flip it, it acts as a koozie. So very cool. That way it doesn't just become a huge dust collector in your closet. So consistent with the earth motif, this Titan, the one that I received, came in a khaki-ish color. They actually call it flat dark earth, but if you're looking for something black, they come in black and black with an orange dial. So again, very cool. Now, the dial on it is a matte khaki-ish color, as I've mentioned several times. Now, that color continues throughout the entire watch, right? So it's going to carry on through the entire watch. The dial is an awesome dial. Why? Because it's super readable. It's got very big, bold, crisp markers on it. And you're going to have your red second hand swinging all around. So it gives the dial a little bit of pop. Now, as far as the markers that I explained, now, one of the things about this watch is it incorporates what they call never dark illumination, which is you're going to have your superluminova in your markers. And then it's going to have also 11 tritium tubes in this watch. Now, if you notice right above the 12 o'clock marker, beside the 3 o'clock, underneath the 6, and beside the 9, you're going to have another set of tritium tubes. And then the interior bezel also has another 4 tritium tubes, giving it a total of 11. Now, that mixture of tritium and superluminova is what they call that never dark illumination. So 24/7, you're going to be able to tell the time no matter what type of lighting is available for you at that time. So love the dial. Why? Because when you're out on the field, you're going to want something that is, again, very readable at a glance. I've mentioned it in other reviews. Titan did a great job of bringing that to the user. Now, interior bezel, I mentioned that for me it wasn't extremely useful. Why? Because of the rubberized crown that's here at the 2 o'clock position. Because of the fact it's rubberized. Now, I understand why they did it. They want to make it extremely easy to manipulate if you're wearing gloves out on the field. Again, I get it. Just for me, and again, this is subjective, I found that it moved around pretty easily. If I rub it up against my pant legs at work, or rub it up against my vest or my bag or whatnot, it was generally never center. I would center it, and I'm telling you, look at it 10 minutes later and it was a little off. So again, for me, it wasn't extremely reliable. And I have to mention that because I understand that people are going to buy my watches based on my recommendation. I 150% recommend this watch. Not quite sure the rubberized knob was the best choice, but again, that's going to be left for you to decide. It is a very cool concept, and they wanted to give the user two bezels that they can time with. Now, for me, in direct contrast to the bezel, to the inner bezel, the exterior bezel is awesome. It's very crisp. It's very clean looking, very large and in charge as far as the markers. One of the cool things that I learned is that the 12 o'clock pip is actually designed around, I should say designed around, it was inspired by Glock. There's a lot of things in this particular watch that were actually inspired by Glock. Now, one of the other things is the polymer that's used on the exterior. Now, this has a stainless steel core, but it has what they call nitromid that is encapsulating the stainless steel core. Now, this is probably the last time I'll say it. People refer to this watch sometimes as a plastic watch, but in reality, it's a glass reinforced polymer. So we might be using the wrong P word. Instead of plastic, let's use polymer. This is a polymer that is extremely, extremely strong. And again, the polymer has an extremely high tensile strength, much higher than steel. So that's why they went with that, but it's extremely light. So you get the strength, you get the durability, but you don't feel like you have an anchor on your wrist. So this is the polymer that we speak of now. Polymers are saturating the firearm market, and again, for good reason. Why? Because you don't want a firearm that is so heavy that you don't want to carry it around. So same thing, you don't want a watch that's so heavy that you won't want to wear it out on the field. So I think they went with an awesome, awesome choice. So very cool. Now, as far as your weaknesses, one of the ones that I mentioned, or lack thereof, is that there is no actual weakness in this watch as far as when it comes to strap. What they did, instead of having spring bars, they used screw bars. The strap is one of the most comfortable that I've owned. It is a blend of your nylon, your silicone, and your natural rubber. The way that it was explained to me, it's basically a NATO strap with rubber around it. Very, very comfortable. Because of this little feature right here, it doesn't go anywhere. It locks in. Boop. Right? So very nice strap. It's got a very large and in charge buckle, stamped with Reactor. Caseback on it is a screw down caseback. Again, there's certain features because of the fact that it's got your stainless steel core, it's got your nitromid, it's got your screw down pushers here, or crown in this case. It's going to give it that 200 meter and 660 feet water resistance. So again, strap was very good. One of the things that I was worried about is that, being the fact that it's got kind of that nylon in the middle, that it was going to be extremely dirty. It wasn't. I can tell you that a real quick wash of the hose took it all off. One of the other features that you can think about is, if you wear a NATO strap, they're always getting soaked in sweat that comes up obviously from your wrist on up. Well, it can't do that. See? So that's why the strap stays so very clean and it's so very functional. I think I mentioned already, but the cell that's inside of it is a high torque Swiss quartz movement, and it's got a 10-year power cell. Now, Reactor does use automatic movements in some of their watches, but for the purposes of obtaining this particular field watch that would deliver worry-free use, Reactor went with that. So now, lastly, I wanted to end on this because I know that it was kind of a concern of mine, and thankfully Reactor answered all my questions. Remember that I mentioned up front when I was telling you about the specs that it had a K1 shatter resistant mineral. I said don't tune out because I'm going to explain it here in just a second. Now, This has been debated heavily on forums for years. Mineral versus sapphire. Now, this is a tactical watch. Remember, it is designed to be worn out on the field. And I 100%, while you can be a CEO and buy this for the boardroom, I think that this watch is going to be on the wrist of those who serve this country or any country out on the field. That's what this watch is. Now, remember, sapphire, while it is very scratch resistant, it's prone to shattering. K1 mineral is prone to scratching, but it will not shatter. Now let me ask you guys this. If you're out on the field, you're 1,000 miles away, you're doing whatever, you're in combat, are you going to want to watch that shatters? Well, me either. I'd prefer a watch that scratches a little, but that remains functional. So don't just discount this watch because of the fact that it has K1. In fact, pick it up because it has K1, because they designed it exactly for you, the person that's going to want to watch that last a lifetime. And so, again, I think this is a very cool watch, guys. Again, I call it tactical. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to contact me. Leave a comment below with whatever it is that you want answered, and I'll do my best. If I don't know the answer, one of the cool things is Reactor has pledged that any type of question, comments, concerns that myself or any member of the public has, they'll be more than happy to answer. They deliver definitely great customer service, and it's definitely a watch that I think that you're going to enjoy owning. So, again, this is Ariel Soltura signing off. Thanks again. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.